It's all the same about, protecting his face. Here's a good point. Almost as if strangers donating lots of money are right in the head. When will streamers realize it's not normal supporting me? You wish. They have intentions behind it when it comes to dropping bags on you, right? Okay, we keep going, but basically, it's an awful story, and there's all these different takes, and there's all these different things that we could talk about in regards to it, all right? So here's the deal. Back in the day, early YouTube, I became a prominent content creator, not a streamer. I wasn't a streamer at that point. I was just making on-demand videos. I became very popular for making said videos. People wanted to meet me. People wanted to interact with me, and I was like, we'll do Ask the King every once in a while. But the demand started to grow. People wanted to meet Darkside Phil. They wanted to get merch signed. They wanted to shake my hand. They wanted to take a picture with me. And so I decided, hey, all right, I'll start going out there. I'll start going to conventions. I'll hold a panel. I'll have a table where people can come up and meet me or whatever. And I did that for like a year or two. And it was nice. I'll be honest. I don't think I ever really met anyone who, in my opinion, seemed like a weird, stalkerish, obsessive weirdo, okay, who was going to do something horrible or anything like that. Now, who knows, right? Maybe I was just lucky with the few conventions and things that I attended. You never know. At the same time, all right, I was always with friends. Never did I go to an event by myself. I was always there with a group. I was always hanging out with the group. I was to be sure never to be alone, okay? Also, let's be honest, back then, when I was at the height of my YouTube popularity, it wasn't about actual contributions. It wasn't like someone was contributing to my stream or contributing to that. It wasn't like that. It was based on video views. So it was a different time. There wasn't someone saying, hey, I'm going to donate a whole bunch of money to you today. And then you're wondering, gee, is this person right in the head or whatever? You know what I'm saying? It was a very different time back then, okay? Over time, I think what's happened is that the situation has changed with content creation. We've gone from, hey, I just make this offline content for you to watch and enjoy at your own rate, and that's it. That's our relationship, to now I'm a live streamer. I hang out with you every day on stream, right? We have a good time together. And basically, because we do that, we now have this parasocial relationship where you come to hang out with me every day and we have conversation and we have fun. You contribute. I shout you out, right? And I think what happens is some people get it and some people don't, all right? When it comes to content creation, it's very simple. The person on the other end of the internet is never going to be your close personal friend. Maybe there are some situations where that does happen, but in general, 99.99999% of the time, that person you're looking at, including me, is never going to be your close personal friend. You're never going to be in a relationship with that person. That's crazy thinking. Sadly, I just think there's so many people on the internet who believe that. They look at that person on the other end of the camera and they say, oh, well, maybe if I'm nice enough to them and I contribute enough to them and I talk to them enough on a stream, I can have a close personal relationship. They could be my real friend. We can actually hang out and do stuff together. We can actually go on dates and we can have a relationship and this and that. And that's never going to happen. I don't even know how crazy it can get that people would believe that, but they do. I'm going to be honest with everyone. I've talked about this before, so don't worry about it. But listen to this story. Many, many, many years ago, I'm talking my first few years as a content creator, there was a person who became obsessed with me. I knew it because they told me outright. They were like romantically were thinking about me and they wanted to spend time with me and they wanted to do this. And I basically told them, listen, I'm not going to lead you on in life. This is never going to happen. Like, we're friendly. We talk. You know what I'm saying? But never, ever will that ever happen. And I tried to let them down as nicely as I could. But even then, I could tell that they were hurt. And quite frankly, after like maybe another month, I never spoke with that person ever again. And this was a person who had been a fan of mine, who had been a positive part of my community, And then when I outright told them, listen, I'm not going to date you. That's crazy. They couldn't take that answer and they disappeared. So for every situation like that, how many now situations do we have where you have a creator who's streaming and there's someone on the other end of that camera who has a crush on them and is now saying, well, I'm going to help them because I have a crush on this person. And they just start throwing them money to support them in this weird parasocial relationship, right? And they're expecting more than just that interaction. They're literally thinking in the back of their head, hey, maybe one day I can actually talk to this person and have a friendship. Maybe one day I can actually meet them. Maybe one day something more, a spark will happen and we'll be romantic and this and that. And that's just crazy. It is. It 100% It's crazy thinking, but that's the world we're now living in. We have a whole generation of people growing up. They have always been on the internet. Literally, they've grown up connected to the internet nonstop all day, every day. Most of their life is lived on the internet. They don't even have a separation between what's real life and what's internet life. It's just, that's life to them. I grew up in a time period before the internet was everywhere. So I had a whole childhood and teen years before the internet became so prominent. So I have that life that's been separated, and I can separate. When people say to me, how do you every day go on with the amount of people on the internet who make fun of you and shit? How could you do it? Why the hell do I care about that? My life is not dictated by the internet. I have a real life off the internet that's amazing. My wife is next door right now. I can hear her doing stuff in the house, and I can't wait to spend time with her later today. That's my life. This is my work. And yes, we have fun on streams together, but that's my real life. But so many people today don't have that. All they have is this. So when they come on stream and they watch their favorite streamer, that's their life. That's their interaction and social existence for the day. And they don't have that level of separation to understand that this doesn't really matter that much. It's not that big of a deal. If you have a falling out with a streamer, oh no, I don't like their content anymore. It's not the end of the world. They don't get that because they've literally lived on the internet nonstop, 100%. So we have a whole generation of people that are growing up with this mindset that's been twisted and warped. And that's scary to think of, okay? Now, some of these comments, all right, are pretty crazy. You got someone like Asmongold, and he's saying, you got to be skeptical about people who support you online. If someone sends you a ton of money out of nowhere, you should block them and send the money back. So here's a question. I would love to ask this to Asmongold, all right? How exactly would you do that if you're a streamer? Could you refund a whole bunch of memberships or subs that you were sent right now? No. Can you refund bits or super chats? No. You can't. You can't refund online contributions. The only situation where you could is a tip. Like something through your PayPal, I guess Venmo, you could probably reject the payment and send it back. Outside of that, when you're a creator, you just get sent shit. Like there's nothing you can do about it. You just got it. All right? So there's no real protection from a streamer, as a streamer, I should say, from someone who's coming in and contributing. And maybe it's someone who even like for example, right now on Kick. All right? There's people on Kick who are blocked. They can still contribute. I'm serious. Kick doesn't even have a protection where once someone's banned, they can't contribute. They can keep contributing anyway. And there's nothing you can do about it. You can't stop them from being a contributor to your stream. That's just how they set up the business. So I find it kind of silly that you would put the blame on a victim. Someone who was murdered is somehow responsible for the fact that they had an obsessive fan who was sending them insane amounts of money, by the way, which they probably could not even reject. And now somehow that's their fault. I don't know if I agree with that take. All right. Here's what I would agree with. If you have someone who's a streamer and they are actually daily doing content that's suggestive, sexually suggestive, emotionally suggestive, that they're actually trying to milk their viewers by saying and doing things that are basically manipulative. These streamers who are barely wearing any clothes or taking clothes off, jumping in hot tubs, riding pickle ricks, okay? The streamers who are, I'm going to take off my thing right on my arm, your name, and you know, I'm going to send you kisses. I'm going to do a pose if you send a contribution. That kind of stuff is messed up. That is actually, in my opinion, not morally wrong. I do believe that there should be some check and balance against it, because I do actually believe that at some point it can become to the point where people will actually believe that it's real. And actually it can become like a sick thing. A sicko could actually like think that someone's in love with them because they're doing those kind of actions. But oh, by the way, just send us more money. You know, at what point do we draw the line between it's content creation or it's prostitution? I mean, maybe you didn't do the physical act, but goddamn, people are coming pretty darn close to porn at this point, right? So this is the problem with the whole social aspect and parasocial aspect of content creation, is that you have people who don't understand that it's fantasy, that there's a line to be drawn, and then they start going crazy over the level, and then that, you know what I'm saying? That's just crazy. So the thing is, I don't know this content creator. I can't really comment and say, oh, they were doing this kind of content and therefore they're responsible or they're not responsible, right? I don't follow South Korean creators to be giving that kind of commentary on this topic, all right? But if someone's sending you $70,000, you probably should question what in the holy hell is going on and if this makes any sense, okay? The AI summarized it and claimed that they had a business relationship. I don't know what kind of a business relationship that they had. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, if it was like, oh, it's a business we set up together and I decided that, no, we're not going to do it anymore, and she just decided to cut and run after accepting $70,000 of the guy's money, and now she's backing out of the business transaction, I mean, that's really underhanded, but I mean, was there a business contract in place? Could this guy have sued her? Did he feel like he wasted his whole life savings and money, and this guy was now destitute, and he went nuts because of it, and that's why he went after? There's all these factors that we don't know the answers to, right? So you can't really sit here as an armchair critic and be like, well, this is her fault, or, well, this, it's kind of a fucked up situation no matter what. Murder is murder, and it should never happen, okay? So the guy is 100% in the wrong here, but you actually don't know what happened, and when you're sitting back and you're going to make a comment like, oh, well, it's totally her fault for accepting that money, I do think that that's a pretty fucked up thing to do. I don't think that any of us should be sitting here high and mighty and act like we really understand this situation, okay? However, the point that people are making that you shouldn't just accept insane amounts of unlimited money from strangers, yeah, it kind of resonates, it does. Right now, every day, I accept money from people. I don't know who they are. I don't. There's no way to know who they are, nor should I need to know who everyone is who contributes to my content. I'm one person, you are thousands, right? So I shouldn't know each person who contributes and have a personal relationship, and I know I can trust this person. Also, at the same time that I say that, it's 2025, and we're getting more and more stories like this. It is becoming crazy to the point where, like, is it even safe for a content creator or a streamer to actually now be meeting up with people? Like, ever in real life? Is it safe to do that? Or has it become to the point where it's actually just unsafe because you never know who's a crazy stalker, right? Who's actually going to hurt you or has bad intentions, right? It's crazy to think. So you have to think about that, right? Like right now, everyone's, well, Phil, will you ever go to another convention? Well, here's the thing. 10, 15 years ago, it seemed like people were more normal. Today, people are nuts. Today, people do crazy shit constantly. So who's to say that there's not some nut job out there who's convinced that I'm the devil because I stream games every day and actually wants to hurt me or my family? Is the risk worth it? Probably not. I mean, guys, I'm not even kidding you. There are people who try to stalk me on my days off. They try to find out what I do on a day off, and they try to post it up all over the internet like it matters. So can you imagine if I was going to a convention or if I was making a public appearance? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like maybe we're to the point where if you're an interactive streamer, it's just not even safe to get to that level to have a personal interaction with a fan, because how do you know a fan is even in their right mind? Do you really know them that well, right? So it's pretty insane, right? I mean, what a story. And the thing is, I sadly hate to say this, we have to understand something, which I think a lot of people don't understand. We are in the infancy stages. Yeah, I'm looking at a bug. There's a bug up there. That's what I keep looking at. There's a bug in my room, and I'm going to get it when I'm done with the story. It keeps climbing on my curtains right now. We are in the infancy stages of content creation on the internet, and certainly we're in the very early infancy stages of interactive streaming. Interactive streaming for profits has only been about 10 years, not even, when you really think about it. People doing it for a living, fully, probably not even 10 years yet. Okay, so it's very early. Maybe in the long term, there will be things developed. That'll be protections. That'll be laws. That'll be ways to protect a streamer or a creator. Right now, we have absolutely, positively nothing. Zip. So anyone can mess with anyone. And you report them and no one cares. Oh, someone's harassing me on YouTube. YouTube's like, oh, well. Twitch is like, who gives a shit? They don't do anything because legally, they're like, well, we're not responsible. We have no responsibility for anything that happens on our site. So literally, someone can send you death threats. Someone can send you horrendous things, pictures, talk about your family, dox you. Oh, well, we're not responsible for it. Get a lawyer. That's what you're told. You got a problem with it? Get a lawyer. No. You're the site that literally exists because I give you my free content and you monetize it and you make money on it. There's got to be some kind of a legal agreement that you're going to protect me from people who want to kill me because they're crazy. Now, oh, well, hands off. Law protects us, so, if you get slashed, you get slashed. Who gives a shit? It's pretty fucked up. That's literally their attitude. Not exaggerating. That is their attitude. They just don't care about it. They're like, well, not our problem. So, how happy they are to accept your money that you make for them by making content. But then the fact that you have to actually, can I get some help? No. Why would we ever help you? Or who are you? I'm the person who prints money for you every day. I don't care. They don't give a shit. So, I'm sure we may be talking more about stories like this soon. We may. And it's scary to think, but it may become more commonplace. If anything, I might say I'm at least safer because I'm a guy, right? Guys, tendency, you have more male viewers and you don't have that much level of obsession right? Girls who are streaming, especially those, I hate to say it, who take advantage to try to make more money, and they do those parasocial relationships, I'll blow you a kiss, I'm going to write your name on me and everything. Then people start to get crazy in the head. Guys are wired in this crazy way where some of these losers actually think this shit is real. They don't get that they're paying money for a quick interaction, and that's where it ends. They actually think, one day I'll have a relationship with this girl. They're nuts. These people are fucking nuts. At the same time, you got to be careful about how far you go, because maybe you are taking advantage of someone who is nuts, right? I'm outright tell you guys every day the level of our relationship, right? We're just hanging out. We're just having a good time together. We're enjoying games. We're having good conversation. You know what I'm saying? That's where we end it. This is not, you're going to come hang out with me in real life and spend days with me, and we're going to have a good time together, and we're going to date, and we're going to do crazy shit. No, never. Never, ever. But how many people get the wrong impression? You got to think, someone who's going to send you thousands and thousands of dollars, are they doing it for the right reasons? You know, I've had people over the years, again, I've 17 years I've been doing this. I've had people who have written me heartfelt messages saying, just so you know, when I was younger, I used to watch your stuff, and it really propped me up at a time in my life when I was really messed up in the head. And here I am all these years later, and I still watch your stuff. And I have a job, and I support myself well, and I want to thank you for what you did for me, making that awesome content earlier in my life. And then they'll send me a big contribution. And then it's like, wow, that's meaningful. And I think that person, because they went the way to explain the situation, wow, that makes sense, I can accept. At the same time, there's so many anonymous contributions, you can't do anything about that. There was Tutankhamun, the weirdo on Twitch, who was sending me insane amounts of gifted subs, tips, and bits, and then all of a sudden started derailing my streams, demanding I play certain games, and just acting like an asshole, right? The flip side of that, there was a person who was Emerald 7, who for 2 or 3 months on Twitch was just sending me endless amounts of tier 3 subs. I have no idea who the person was. I never spoke with them. I never ever figured out who they were. And no exaggeration, within 3 months, they sent me like $10,000 of support. So you never know. You don't know who these people are. How as a creator, are we supposed to keep track and micromanage every person who contributes? We're not. So maybe we need protections in place. Maybe we need something to say, hey, this shit shouldn't be happening. People shouldn't get our information. People shouldn't be able to fuck with us, right? I don't know. But again, we don't actually know the situation between this girl and this 50-year-old guy. They're saying there was a business transaction. What was that business transaction? What does it entail? I don't know. It's kind of weird, right? Anyway, that's what we have to say about that for now. There may be follow-ups to that story later. Okay. So I'm in a precarious position here, folks. I have a stink bug in my room sitting on top of my blinds. Okay? Stink bugs are an intrusive species here in the Pacific Northwest. We're not supposed to have them. They've been more intrusive recently, and they've been reproducing at a rapid rate. What a stink bug does, it gets in your house. All they do is they eat plants, so they're not actually a big deal. The problem is stink bugs have a pheromone that they spray, and if they spray it, they attract other bugs. I don't want 100 bugs coming into my house. So what I do when I see a stink bug, I trap it, and I put it inside of a little, like a Tupperware container, and I throw it back outside. The problem is it's on top of my blinds right now, or my curtains. I don't know how I'm going to trap this one. Like, I need to get it in a container and get it out before I lose track of it. So I have to delay the podcast while I do this. I'm staring at it right now. I got to go get a container. The thing is, you might say, why not just grab it with like a paper towel? I might kill it. If you kill it, it releases the pheromone, and then bugs come running. So what I need to do is capture it and throw it outside and not kill it. No, Jasper will not eat the stink bugs because the stink bugs stink. The stink bugs actually, the pheromone, cats don't like it. He's attacked a stink bug before, and it sprayed him, and he was like, he hated it. So I got to try to find a way to get this thing. Give me a sec. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go grab a container, and I'm going to try to catch this thing. I hope it doesn't move too much because I see it now. Hold on.